Hey everyone, welcome to Sideline Sports Network. We've got Amber Theo Harris here with us. You can hear Amber Theo Harris throughout the season on the SiriusXM NFL Radio, SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio channels, and Westwood One. All this week, she's hosting the SiriusXM pop-up channel, Super Bowl 57 Radio on SiriusXM Channel 104. Channel features interviews, specials, and highlights from the best programming happening across SiriusXM during Super Bowl week. And without further ado, the one, the only, Amber Theo Harris. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. That was quite an introduction. I don't know how to, the one and the only, I don't know how to live up to that, but I'll try to.
I've watched you in Baltimore cover the O's, and you were so great, and you've just done an amazing job there. And then you've taken your career to new heights. So can you talk about what that was like going from one organization to SiriusXM, NFL Network, SiriusXM, the works, everything that you've done? I mean, you just have an amazing career.
Oh, thank you. Well, as a Marylander, a true Marylander, Baltimore will always be my home. And I love that you say Baltimore. I had to take voice lessons to learn to lose my Baltimore accent. So it's refreshing to hear it from someone else. It reminds me of being back home. But, to come up, I worked in many different markets before I came back home to Baltimore. But then I went there to Fox 45, ultimately as a weekend anchor, after a couple other markets in Columbus, Ohio, and Salisbury, Maryland, and things like that. But then to, not only work at Fox 45, but then evolve into the regional network Masson and get a chance to cover the Orioles and the Ravens and travel with both teams. What an experience for a Maryland girl. It was a dream come true, and really I could have died happy at that point. And I always look back at those days and that experience as I'm very blessed to have done it. I just saw Eric Burns, former center fielder for the Orioles. We just give each other a big hug. The friendships that you make last a lifetime. I saw Ray Lewis at the Pro Bowl yesterday, and we gave each other a big hug. So, we all feel like we kind of came up together. I was in my 20s, they were in their 20s, and now we're all kind of off doing our own things. But to answer your question, then it's hard to make that jump to the national level. A lot of botched auditions, a lot of no's, a lot of rejection. And then NFL Network gave me an opportunity, and to be able to be there for 8 years and host some of the biggest events, anchor the biggest shows, really was a growing experience. Really fun. Again, you make friendships that last forever. So, now just to continue my career, still doing TV and radio, but also making films and doing things like that. It's been an evolution that I feel very lucky to have done it for this long.
Yeah, and again, you've done an amazing job. Everything you've done. Whenever I talk to people that know you on the SiriusXM level, they're not familiar with the Baltimore roots, and I have to kind of like tell them, like, hey, she came from Baltimore. Like that's where that's the connection for me, is like, grew up an Orioles fan and covered the Orioles now for over 7 years, and the team. What do you think? Let me take it this direction. What do you think of the state of the Orioles right now with Adley Rutschman, with Grayson Rodriguez? Is this team close to a World Series, finally getting back there for the first time since Cal Ripken helped get us there?
Yeah, I mean, you have to go way back to 96, 97, and it has been so long. But we did have those playoff years with Adam Jones and that group, Nick Markakis, and in the 2010-11s, around there. Do I think the Orioles are close to getting back to the World Series? I think last year they were ahead of schedule, so that was encouraging. Whether or not they are going to knock off the Yankees and the Blue Jays especially, I don't know if they're there yet. But there's a lot of newness on the Orioles right now, and I think the best thing they have working for them is they are young and they're extremely talented. They've really used their draft picks very well. You just mentioned the guys like Adley Rutschman that I'm really excited about. Look, it was great to be an Orioles fan last year. You were really encouraged. You really felt like they were headed in the right direction for the first time in building with the farm system. But are they ready to knock off the big boys? We'll see. I hope they take that step this year, but it's tough to do. I covered the AL East, as you said, for so long. And the amount of money that is spent by the New York Yankees and the Blue Jays compared to the Orioles, I just think you need to have you need to spend more money to be able to bring in free agents and not just build through the draft.
So transitioning from the Baltimore roots to, we're going to go to the game. We're going to go to this coming Sunday's game. Who do you have in this one? Who has the advantage? I mean, this is so tightly contested. I mean, you really could go either way. So who are you favoring in this one?
To me, it's a pick 'em. And like, look, if you told me, Amber, do a 10-minute argument on why the Chiefs will win, I could give you that. And if you said, Amber, give me a 10-minute argument on why the Eagles will win, I could give you that. Look, I think the Chiefs have the experience, which is huge. They have the veteran coach. They have Patrick Mahomes. I mean, remember when we saw Sean McVay go up against Bill Belichick a couple years ago in the Super Bowl, and Sean McVay just got outcoached. He just got outcoached flat out. He was young.
Part of that, Todd Gurley, his knee was
hurt.
Really set him
but from
back
a coaching, I'm saying from a coaching standpoint, it was obvious that the experience at coaching matters. If you have been to a Super Bowl, if you've won Super Bowls before, and that advantage is to Andy Reid. And same with Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts is phenomenal. He could hear his name be called MVP on Thursday at NFL Honors for the entire season. So I think the experience level and the X factor of Patrick Mahomes, I just can never count them out. Now the pass rush for the Eagles, to me, is with Patrick Mahomes' ankle, banged up, with some of the receivers banged up, they're going to have to run the football a lot. But it's the pass rush. I think if the Chiefs are able to establish the run with those three running backs early, then I feel pretty good about the Chiefs. But if you see Patrick Mahomes getting hit and sacked very early by Hassan Reddick and those boys, it could be a long day for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I said that on our shows this week, on the Sideline Sports shows. I said the key to the Chiefs is running the football. Pacheco and those guys. If they can run the football at the teeth of the Eagles' defense, then it sets up the passing game, because you're not passing on that. You're not passing on that secondary. Like if you're passing 47 times with the Chiefs, you're running 13.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
You need a safety to drop down. So you need to threaten to run and have that threat, and then be able to go downfield after that.
And for the Eagles, I think you're right. I think the defensive line has to be the key. They have to, and I've said this: rush 4, drop 7. That front 4 can get home.
They can.
By themselves.
Well, we saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do that in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. They rushed 4, let the other 7 drop, and you don't have to have these crazy blitz packages, and the Eagles are built that way. And I bet you that Eagles defense has been watching a lot of film of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that 2019 Super Bowl? Yeah, 2020 Super Bowl. Yeah.
So, one last question. Where do you think Mahomes' ankle is at?
I don't know. I mean, how would I know? You know what I mean? Like, look, we said there's no way he can play in 6 days in the AFC Championship game. I've covered high ankle sprains my entire career, and it's like a 6 to 8 week injury.
Right.
And here he comes out, and then we hear that it's an amazing athletic trainer, female athletic trainer that really got him ready to go. So they have an amazing athletic training staff. He has 2 weeks of rest, and you can't measure heart. I think we saw in that final play of the AFC Championship game where he rushes, gets the first down, gets hit out of bounds, and gets the penalty. We didn't think on an ankle that bum he could run like that, and he can when he needs to. He's willing to do anything. And that's why, I'm almost not even worried about the ankle. It's weird. I just feel like he has the heart and the will. Yeah, he has something about him that when the lights go on, he's going to do what he has to do to win the Super Bowl.
So who wins? Before we get out of here,
I've been picking the Chiefs 27-23, which is funny because I found out I've been picking that all week, and then I found out the line is, I think, 50.5. So I'm right at 50. So I'm technically on the under. I think the Vegas odds makers did a good job of picking the line.
I got to go with the Eagles in this one. I got to go 37-34. For some reason, the Chiefs always play these wild games. The Eagles, as we've seen in Super Bowls, just play these wild games. The last time they were in the Super Bowl, Tom Brady threw for over 500 yards, and they still beat the Patriots in that one. So I'm going to have to go with the Eagles. But before we let you get out of here, again, you can hear Amber Theo Harris throughout the season on the SiriusXM NFL Radio and SiriusXM Fantasy Sports radio channels and on Westwood One. All this week, she's hosting a special SiriusXM pop-up channel, Super Bowl 57 radio on SiriusXM channel 104. channel features interviews, specials, and highlights from the best programming happening across SiriusXM during Super Bowl week. Thank you very much, Amber. Anything before we let you go? You want to promote yourself at all?
I think you
that's
just
what
did
we always
it.
kind of make sure our
You
guests.
just did it. You can follow me at AmberTheo1 on Instagram. I have some great pictures from the Pro Bowl yesterday that you want to check out. Actually, I need to post some more now that I'm thinking about it. And then you can also follow me at Amber Theo Harris. It's 1R. Everybody thinks it's 2. So,
all right. Well, this has been John Shear from Sideline Sports and the one, the only Amber Theo Harris. Thank you again for your time.
Thanks, John. I appreciate your time.
Of course.